I do now want to make a complete left turn here and talk about
Okay.
Jeffrey Epstein and what we've seen come out of the files there, because last month the Department of Justice released over 3 million more materials related to the disgraced financier. This was well past the December 19th date that the Epstein Files Transparency Act gave to the DOJ to release all the documents related to Epstein, but Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said the review is over. There's not going to be any more materials released. So is that it? I mean, what do you make of this? Obviously, we still have to look at all of the millions of documents that are coming out, but what do you make of the investigation so far?
The investigation and the lack of compliance with federal law on the part of the Trump administration is an abomination. I mean, there are still 3 million more files that they haven't released. So they are not compliant with the law. Much of the files that they recently released actually have the names of the perpetrators redacted, and the victims' names were revealed. I mean, that was one of the things that they were absolutely supposed to protect was the names of the victims. And they've also said that there aren't going to be any prosecutions. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, so the reason that we needed to have these files revealed is so that DOJ could engage investigations against people who raped and sexually assaulted and abused young girls who were underage. I mean, who engaged in pedophilic acts. And I mean, they're just going to get off scot-free. The Trump administration is just going to let them go. To say nothing of the fact that we need to get to the bottom of the president's involvement. He's mentioned the most number of times in these documents. I'll be going down to DOJ to look at the files the unredacted files. But Brittany, they're only making 4 computers available for the entire Congress to be able to look at those unredacted files. That is not normally the kind of narrow access that we have. We usually have, for as large a body as we are, a lot more access that is a lot less restrictive. And that's because they don't want us to see what's really in there.
What specifically are you looking for when it comes to those unredacted files? I mean, how easy or hard would it be to go through all of them? Because the documents, I mean, there's millions of documents.
Right. My understanding is they've made it very difficult, not just because they only have 4 computers for us to review them on, but also there are codes and specifics that we have to ask for. So you have to know what to ask for, which is not the kind of unfettered access that we would normally have when it comes to classified documents, which these aren't actually classified. These are just documents that they want to shield as much as possible so that we can't get to the real bottom to be able of this case to ensure that the victims ultimately get justice. That's why we need to pass my Courtney Wild Act legislation that would ensure that we change the law that would prohibit these kind of sweetheart deals that Jeffrey Epstein got instead of being prosecuted as a felon under federal law, and that you allow the victims to have their day in court and be able to weigh in and be notified about the proposed plea deal so that they could weigh in when the sentencing occurred. And we have to pass that law because this should never be able to happen to any victim again.
In a congressional hearing today, Attorney General Pam Bondi was testifying, and your colleague Jamie Raskin said to her face, "You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the DOJ." Do you agree with that? Do you think that the DOJ is running this cover-up when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein?
I absolutely do. Pam Bondi has been nothing but the chief protection, the chief of protection of Donald Trump and his cronies that cuddled up and buddied up with Jeffrey Epstein for years. And I mean, the spectacle, the disrespect that she brought on herself and on the Department of Justice today, and with her performance in judiciary was disgusting. And I mean, it made a spectacle of what should be a normal back and forth engagement of questions asked by members of Congress to hold the executive branch accountable. And, I mean, she thinks she's this big badass coming to, stand up to members of Congress and call them names and, avoid answering questions and being very combative, she made herself look like the clown that she is.